I feel no need for the villain to have to lose. It's not like the villains really lose in real life. What do you think is weirder? Not wearing underwear or wearing socks without shoes?
I actually have an easy answer to this one because I just started the No Underwear Club recently, and I have to tell you, it is enlightening and amazing. So I'm gonna say wearing shoes with no socks to me is would be weirder.
How did you make the decision to go commando?
That's actually a good question. I'm not really sure the true answer to that, other than it's just kind of makes you feel free.
I have been a commando person for a long time. I have gone commando, I would say at least for the last 5 years. And it is very freeing. It also feels a little bit cooler. I haven't personally ran into any difficulties with going commando. Maybe other people have, but I personally haven't ran into any issues.
I mean, I haven't either. And, I'm new to the club, so please accept me with open arms. But, yeah, it's I feel like we sometimes can put too many layers on. The older I get, the less layers I want on. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I generally don't want to really have to deal with any kind of hassle in anything, whether that is just tasks or clothing or whatever. I just want my life to be a lot easier. And that's one step. Like, not putting on underwear is one step I don't have to do.
Commando, there's something to be said for going commando. It's good. It's not as bad as you think.
No, but I would never wear shoes without socks. I would never wear shoes without socks.
Yeah.
To me, that's like the grossest thing. Like, I can't stand that feeling.
Yeah, I never would.
I don't go around my house without socks on. I
Wow.
don't really. I'm almost never barefoot unless I'm going to bed. That's the only time I would say that I'm barefoot.
I mean, is there a reason why? Is it just...
I just don't like the idea of, like, I don't know what's on things. Like, people who walk outside without shoes on, that's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
I'm gonna say this, and I hope some people out there know what I'm saying, but I think I have soft feet. I don't think I have hardened feet at all. Like, if I'm to walk, on the sidewalk without shoes on or socks, I'm that person that's like, ooh, ah, ee, ooh.
Oh, yeah, I can't walk. If it's not, like, perfect concrete, I can't walk on it. Like, if there's any sort of unevenness to it or any sort of small rock, we're talking, like, grains of sand. My feet are hurting. Like, maybe that's why, because I baby my feet. I take care of my feet, man. I think that's one of the most important parts of your body.
All right, well, let's go to some people that hopefully don't have bad feet.
Okay.
I'm going to give some shout-outs here. Archie Barton, Chris Pabst, Cole McLaughlin, Paul Rinaldi, Sky Smith, Saeed Yasser, Fabian Hahn, David Larson, Carter England, Aaron Yang, and Zane Whitson. Congratulations.
I forgot about this, but I polled the audience asking them what's weirder, wearing shoes without socks or going without underwear. 56% said no underwear. 44% said wearing shoes without socks. So not wearing underwear is apparently weirder than not wearing socks. But this was a big vote, 2,000 votes.
Wow.
Pretty close, honestly.
All right, well, let's go to some current topics here. I've been keeping, I'm changing this up, and I've been keeping like notes of things throughout the last week of things that I think are interesting. So we'll see how that plays out. So Hulk Hogan, we all know what he did at the RNC, but that's not what I want to talk about. Okay. I want to talk about his new beer line. Would you? And I want to bring it up for two specific reasons. One, do you consider Hulk Hogan, and hopefully he's listening to this or watching this, do you consider him to be a washed-up celebrity? And two, is the whole him getting his own beer line strictly a money-making venture because he wants to be relevant and needs the cash.
I always wonder about celebrities when they do stuff like that. Like, are they broke or do they just need the attention?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand a lot of it. Like, we obviously have a podcast, but there's a lot of people who start podcasts, and I wonder, like, why are you doing this? Because if I ever had an opportunity where I had millions of dollars, you would never hear from me again. Like, why would you start doing that? Like, I guess maybe it's they need the attention, or some people just... The thing is like, I was very lucky in life to make this a whole rant. And then I learned very early on the idea of when enough is enough. And I think some people never learn that. Because if you can't find the happiness with the things that you have, like that black hole is never going to be filled. Like you're never going to have enough money. You're never going to have enough attention. And I think some people just, they never learn when enough is enough.
Well, and for somebody like him, where you are literally the top person, maybe in the world in terms of entertainment, for 5 to 10 years, and then the last 30 years have been the downfall. I mean, I just don't know how. I don't know how you do it if you're that person.
But you have to have a concept of when enough is enough. Like you were one of the most famous people in the world for a little bit. Like that's not good enough for you. That didn't fill that hole. You got to keep doing this and selling like crappy beer. Like I would want to just ride off into the sunset by that time. Like you had your run. Let somebody else have a turn.
All right, let's talk about something that has me completely mind-boggled here.
Okay.
Last week in Winstead, Connecticut. I have no idea where that is, but I do know where Connecticut is. Somehow, some way, an adult black bear and its cub became locked inside of a car. After opening the door, got inside the car. The door then shuts and they're locked inside. So as typical bears would do, they literally ate themselves out of the car to get out, breaking the windows, eating the interior. I have a lot of questions about this one, but apparently it's a true story. But I don't know how bears get in and shut the doors on themselves. That's the first question I have. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, they do have like paws. It is possible. Maybe they like push the door too hard. Like, you know, if you push a door too hard, it bounces back and then shuts. I don't know, man. It's like, that's a mystery. That's just one of those things, like, how do you even explain, without video, like, how do you explain that to the car insurance company? Like, everything was torn apart. It looks like something ate my upholstery and broke all my windows. It was a bear. Like, okay, sure it is. What did you really do, right? Like, that's a hard one to explain. Don't mess with animals, man. They'll always find a way to do something.
I remember I was in college and I hit a deer coming back home from college, and I was able to lie to my parents and parents and the insurance adjuster that I hit a tree. Like the tree came down on top of my car, and they totally believed it, even though I totally cracked a deer driving on the freeway.
Why did you lie about it though? Like it wasn't like hitting a deer was your fault.
I was worried.
Wasn't your fault.
It would probably. I mean, I don't really remember it, but I remember.
Oh, wait a minute! It was one of those.
Something like that. Anyways,
okay.
Let's stay.
Yeah, like I don't know why you needed to make up that lie. Like, did you hit a deer? No, tree fell on it. Like we don't care, man.
I remember there was like pieces of the deer hair stuck in the grill, and the adjuster was like, "Yeah, I don't really believe you, but I just don't want to be here anymore. So here you go."
Yeah, you got to remember that as much as you don't care about your job, not saying your current job, but as much as you don't care about your job, other people don't care about their jobs either, man. Everybody just wants to check the boxes. Just let me check the box so I can go on about this my life.
That's it, man. That's it. Nobody really wants to work. I think the days of loving your job, not to say we don't, I guess, but the days of actually loving your job and committing everything you have to it, I feel like that generation is kind of trickling out. And I'm not saying us, but I feel like that generation is slowly dying off to where they're just jobs now. People just clock in, clock out.
I have always been baffled why jobs ask you why you want to work here. For money. Like, nobody wants to... Like, why are you making me lie to you?
All right, let's move on to Rhode Island, where apparently this past weekend in Westerly, Rhode Island, because apparently we're just giving all the Atlantic states love today. Say you're laying on the beach enjoying a nice day, 79 degrees, water, sun, and the next thing you know, there's a million dragonflies all conversing onto your one little tiny beach spot, forcing you to run into your car and never come back. That sounds like a horror movie to me. And hundreds of people lived that nightmare on a Rhode Island beach this past weekend.
Okay. I don't know what you what do you want? Dang.
That's like something out of a horror movie. Like, that doesn't happen. Like that.
Oh, man, you've never been like, oh. Well, I guess because I've gone hiking in Canada in the summertime, and like, yeah, that happens.
Oh, yeah. I don't, most people don't know that. Most people don't know what happens.
Well, I mean, if you go to, like, if you're going up north in a wet area in the summertime, like, you should not be surprised that there's mosquitoes, man. Don't mess with the planet.
Yeah, well.
Don't mess with animals. Don't mess with the planet. You're going to lose every time. So our top 5 is top 5 villains we wish would have won.
My number 5, I have Magneto.
I agree. I think the only question about Magneto is where to put him on the list of top 5 villains who should have won.
I always felt he was misunderstood, Magneto.
My number 5 is Castor Troy from Face Off.
How did I forget Castor Troy? That's a good one. That's a really good one, actually. Castor Troy, solid top 5 pick. My number 4, Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore.
Why do you want Shooter McGavin to win?
Because you know what? Not the biggest Adam Sandler fan. And you know what? Happy shouldn't even have been on the tour, all right? That was Shooter's tour to win, and he kept getting boned around. And sure, he tried hiring that big giant guy to, kill Adam Sandler, and it didn't work. But Shooter McGavin, that's my number 4.
Shooter McGavin, you felt like he deserved it a little bit more. That's...
No.
My number 5 is somebody who my number 4 rather, is someone who I think really deserves it, and that's Wile E. Coyote. Wile E. Coyote needs to win. Same with Tom from Tom and Jerry. Like, they both, I always root for the both of them. I root for Wile E. Coyote and Tom from Tom and Jerry. Like, they should win. The cat should win over the mouse.
I'm gonna go Anakin Skywalker as my number 3.
Are you going specific now? See, now listen, I know a lot more about Star Wars than you do, so this is gonna get ugly here. Oh, are you talking about specifically Anakin Skywalker? Or are you talking about Darth Vader?
I'm talking about when he was making the transformation in number 3, I think.
Revenge of the Sith.
And when he's fighting Obi-Wan, like, you kind of just want, like, Anakin just is doing it out of love. He's just doing it, for his mother and for Padme. And damn you, Obi-Wan, you always have to get in the way.
But see, Obi-Wan tried to teach him about the high ground. If you really look closely, like, Obi-Wan teaches him about the high ground, and Anakin didn't listen. Obi-Wan was probably, I'm going to go full Star Wars here. Obi-Wan was probably, aside from Yoda, the only person who could have beat Anakin in that circumstance, because he knew him. He knew how to play him. But I would agree. I want Darth Vader to win everything. Like, I don't know if I want Anakin Skywalker to win, but I want Darth Vader to win all the time.
I mean, I don't know if I wanted Darth Vader to win, but I wanted Anakin to have a better time than he did, that's for sure.
My number 3, I can't quite remember his name. I think it's Bodhi, but Patrick Swayze's character from Point Break.
Okay, that's a solid choice, but I mean, the character, if I'm remembering right, it's just an okay character. I think Patrick Swayze is the reason why you truly care about that character.
I don't know what the difference is. I would never describe Bodhi or Patrick Swayze as an okay character.
Definitely should have won. I mean, why can you give him a little bit of the jackpot? But that's why he's a villain, and that's why he died.
That's why he's a villain. I feel no need for the villain to have to lose. I'm completely okay, because in real life, it's not that the good guy wins. It's just that the good guy, the person who wins, becomes the good guy because they get to tell the story. It's not like the villains really lose in real life.
No, I mean, but we've created this. When I say we, humanity, good versus evil. what else keeps some people going besides good versus evil, right? I mean,
Yeah, but I think the truth is just whoever wins becomes the good guy, whether they were the good guy or the villain to begin with. You just become the good guy.
well, speaking of, my number 2 is Bill Butcher from the Gangs of New York.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know,
No, I liked him more than I liked Leonardo DiCaprio's character. He was much more interesting.
by far. And I still don't know if he was really a villain, you know, because that's just his character. Like, but he apparently was a villain. I know he's the antagonist, but like, I don't know, he was just doing what he had to do to survive. Once again, does that make you a villain? I don't know.
My number 2, I don't know if it's technically going to count or not, but I'm going to put it as my number 2. My number 2 is the White Walkers. They should have won the Game of Thrones. And that's the way that show should have ended. Because when they started it, spoiler alert, and they killed off that one character that nobody thought that they were going to kill off in the first episode, that set it up that this was a TV show with different stakes. And it should have continued, and the White Walkers should have won. The White Walkers should have won the Game of Thrones.
You know what's ironic about this? Is I also have a Game of Thrones character, but they're my number 1.
Oh. Okay. Who's your number 1 then? Who are you? Because there's so many people you could pick.
I don't. And once again, you're gonna hate it, and everyone else is gonna hate it, and I'm gonna get shit for it. But I love this person for some reason, and they should have won. And that's Cersei Lannister.
Okay. I'm also a big Song of Ice and Fire. I've read some of the books. Well, I've read all the books. I don't know if you've read all the books. But in the books, Cersei's a little bit different. She's portrayed as much less cunning. It's much more obvious that she's like not only morally doesn't deserve it, but also intellectually doesn't deserve it. That like, oh, she's not somebody who should be in this position.
I haven't read all the books, but so I'm going strictly based off the TV show. And I know she's a terrible person, but once again, she's doing it all for family. And, you know, I don't know what else to say. That show is one of the greatest shows ever, for one. Secondly, you know, I mean, she's not only like the worst person, but her spawn was a terrible person. You know what I mean?
They were
like,
all awful.
Like, so yeah, so and plus, you know, she's a great character, and yeah, so she gets my number 1 villain that I wish would have won.
My number 1 is Thanos.
I knew it. I knew it.
I completely lost interest in that entire franchise as soon as Thanos lost. Completely lost all interest. He was the best thing about that.
Well, I mean, what was it? Just this past weekend, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Doom now. I mean, that guy just keeps getting role after role.
Yeah, I can't believe they recast him as Doctor Doom. Like, what's the point of doing that? Like, we already saw it. It ruins everything.
Yeah, right. This is a discussion for another time, but it's like, what's going to be made up next? What's going to be redone from our childhood next? Like, they don't need to redo Doctor Doom. They just don't.
Well, I mean, as a comic book fan, like all the Doctor Dooms have been pretty terrible from the Fantastic Four. They need to actually do Doom right, and I don't think that they have done that with Robert Downey Jr. No offense to him, like, you just gotta get somebody else, get anybody else.
Which, by the way, one of my honorable mentions, I know I just cut you off, but one of my honorable mentions, speaking of Doom, was The Rock from Doom.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go The Rock, the movie, that general. That in honorable mentions, he had a pretty good case. Like, oh, he kind of should have won. He wasn't really like, he had a pretty good point.
Was that Ed Harris that played him, I think?
I can't keep track. That's one of those actors that I know them, but I don't know what their name is.
Yeah, I think it was Ed Harris, which is, yeah. That's a good movie. Another underrated Nicolas Cage movie, by the way.
What else do you have in your honorable mention?
Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers.
Okay.
Franchise. The Joker from Batman.
Yeah.
And then I put on this was a top 5 on all the lists I looked at, but Hannibal Lecter.
He kind of won. Yeah. I don't know how he lost. How did he lose?
Yeah, because at the end of the movie, right? Isn't he like...
He escapes. Like, that's kind of winning, I think. I haven't seen this movie, but a lot of people put this in suggestions. Was Robert De Niro's character in Heat?
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know anything about it, but I've heard that a bunch. Denzel Washington's character in Training Day, Lonzo Harris.
Alonzo Harris, man. Yeah, that's... God, what a great movie that is.
Also, Walter White.
Okay, I mean, once again, he's borderline villain / not villain, but... I mean, man, he would be a top 5 if I actually thought of him as a villain. Maybe that's how good of a job he did. I didn't think he was a villain.
I think that he was the villain. Now, I will admit that I watched all of Breaking Bad except for like the last season. And I just never watched it.
Because everyone else watched it and you just can't do things that everyone else likes?
I just completely lost interest in it. And I never watched the end of Breaking Bad. I was like, nah.
F this. Not happening today.
I'm done with that.